Powered by Riverside FM.
Hello. Welcome to We Are POD podcast. Karibuni sana. My name is Leah Kigondu.
My name is Wambui and Leah.
And thank you for joining us. How have you been?
I've been doing
Yesterday we had a call. And I liked how you were so astonished that people can be great. It was like, you are great?
like, how can someone say they're doing great?
And it's on a Friday.
It's very telling. What's currently
I
happening.
felt like ilikuwa wivu.
Maybe I was slightly jealous, but the person felt like they were so giddy,
And
so
they
happy.
sang.
Okay, must be nice.
And then she was like, and you guys? Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Adulting does the thing, but I hope you guys are good. Thank you so much for engaging with our content. Thank you so much for engaging with our content on our platform. Actually, we have changed our name. So what is our current name?
If you're looking for us, it's Fio_podcast_KE.
And Fio, guys, stands for figuring it out. It's not just a Fio. I know we are all quiz now, but
and we know
it's
that
not Fio
who said it. For you,
Fio, Payo, nah. It's Fio, and Fio is an acronym for figuring it out, because this whole adulting thing is about figuring it out. So thank you so much for joining our journey, and let's get to the episode for today. I feel like we have been very, I don't know, we've been getting into a lot of like in touch things, and I think as we are getting into our in touch and feeling ourselves and trying to understand ourselves, and maybe something to say, let me just take a caveat. Do you feel like as you're becoming more like you're growing into your own definition of womanhood, do you feel like, I don't know, for me, I'm feeling like I'm getting to understand myself better, and then also there are certain nuances that are coming out now about, like, I'm no longer viewing life like this one thing that I've been taught to view it as, right? How is your experience coming?
I think as I'm getting older, I'm also feeling daring in my womanhood. I feel like, and I think it's really helping to be around women who are also doing that. Like, you're trying to figure out, what does being a woman
look like and mean?
So I feel like there's that aspect. You can even feel the boldness, just seeping into you. And I also think it's making me question a lot of things, right? Do I need to be a certain way, especially now, like in marriage? The next step, really having children as a woman, and if I do, those dynamics need to look the same way that I have seen and been told. So I'm just like trying to figure out, okay, what does being a young woman look like for me? If I wanted to do X, do I need to do it the way that I've seen it, or can I just chart my own way forward? So it's I think it's a liberating kind of feeling. It feels like you are colonized,
and now you're becoming to now who you are as a country.
And now you're fighting for independence. Now you fought for independence, and now you're trying to figure out, okay, what does this independence look like?
Oh yeah, that is so amazing. I think for me it's also coming up with like, what essentially do I stand for? I feel like now I'm having like strong stance about things, and being comfortable with having opposing stance with other people, and also allowing myself to like learn and relearn from people, like having my stand, but I can still hold space for other people to have their own kind of stance, and also allow their stance to, like, for me to just sit with it also. So I think that's also something that's happening as I'm growing older. And I have heard people say, like, when you're getting into your 30s, there's like a revolution of getting to understand yourself that happens.
And an acceptance.
And an acceptance. So probably it's just knocking.
Maybe it's like,
sweetie,
inspiration, daddy.
But I can also imagine how disorganizing, like, that can be to your sense of self. And to your view of the world, like what you knew it, and then, because I don't think the change is as easy, and the acceptance, I don't think, comes
and
as
it's not
easy.
once.
And it's not once. It's so continuous, and it's not just one part of your life. It's like in multiple, and it can have one choice can have a ripple effect across all.
Right? I feel like we are I know we are adults, but I feel like I am becoming an adult woman. Yeah, because you're being like, oh, I'm just a girl. Yeah, you know, like especially in like when you're in your early 20s. Yeah. And now I feel like I am becoming an adult, a woman adult. You know? Yeah. So
you're understanding what womanhood. Like now you are identifying as like a woman, not because you didn't identify as a woman, but this thing about
I really am a woman,
you know.
I was asking, you know, like when I'm not trying to ask myself, if you're a woman, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, I can imagine like and there's so much to inform us of that. I feel like probably our parents and our grandparents didn't have so much to inform the womanhood. It was like this is how a woman is and this is how you should be. But I think right now there's so much about womanhood that is all over, and like you need to really sieve and get through the noise to actually be who you need to be. And it's so interesting, yeah, because there's still like cultural expectation from your parents and from then there's now the world itself, and they're now integrating just everything about what you're about to talk, feminism and femininity behavior and all those things. And you find actually as I'm talking to more younger women, like everyone is trying to figure out what all these things mean. So it's so interesting. It's such an interesting space to be in. But anyway, guys, so as we alluded to, our conversation today is around femininity, and this was brought up from our last event. I'm hoping this will be released before our next event, so which was on sensuality, Pilates, and sensual release. And we were put into groups and started speaking about like some of the things that we struggle with. It was a word, right? That you're given. Oh my god. So and one of the things that someone said was that sometimes they are unsure like where to stand with femininity, because femininity on one hand is the softness and being, but also at the other hand can be people pleasing and all that. And so we were like, why not get into it and see what our thoughts are and share that with you, and also hoping that you're gonna share your thoughts with us. So I was just looking at, I know femininity concepts came a lot when after we started feminism.
I know you're struggling
so much.
Femininity
and feminism. So I just ChatGPT and checked out like what is the background history of feminism and a brief evolution of it. And so the first wave of feminism was in the late 90s and early 20th century, and this focused on legal rights, particularly suffrage and the right to vote. So it was like identifying women as human beings. Literally, it's like these are human beings that have legal right to exist and also play into the community. So like getting right to vote is being part of community and contributing to community, right?
And this was Western.
And this was in the Western culture. And then we go to the second wave of feminism, which is around 1960s to 1980s, and the focus was workplace equality, reproductive rights, and sexuality and education. So that's when the second wave was about giving people a voice in these different dynamic areas and kind of liberation towards our sexual and reproductive rights, and also education. And so the emphasis was the person is political. The personal is political. Like my personal right of wanting to choose is a political standing and should be identified. And one of the critics there, in terms of the breakdown that they were sharing, or the critique towards the second wave, was that it often failed to include race, class, and global perspective. So it only kind of represented a few people. Then
predominantly Western and
white women. And then we had the third wave of feminism, which is the 1990s and early 2000s. This was about individualism, diversity, and intersectionality, embraced contradiction and fluidity of identity. And that's why actually the concept, e.g., feminine and powerful. So it's actually the third wave that brought us into this whole discussion and about what is being feminine, what's being powerful, what's softness, and we are all being like what's being a strong woman. And then on the fourth wave, which we are currently and present, is about the digital and social media driven. It's a Me Too, time to stand up, powerful, independent, and all that. And its focus is around body autonomy, like a woman is entitled to do whatever she wants with her body, and we can see that just through the US discussions around abortion and becomes such a huge thing. It was even part of what the two different political parties were standing for. Are you for or not for abortion? Kind of party you're part of, right? And also gender identity, the LGBTQ plus inclusion, and also mental health. And the emphasis is dismantling patriarchy in daily life. So emotional labor and gender norms. This wave is about like we are all whatever
on an equal.
Yeah, equal, like this gender is like now a full-on discussion. No, it's not even female, male. It's like all these other kind of gender recognitions.
Yeah.
So that's what it said. But I also was checking. Let me see if I can find just a bit. It says femininity is often seen as natural, softness, emotional, accommodating, and feminism is a political and social movement for equality of the sexes. So there's actually a difference.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we could start with what is your concept? Like, how have you experienced feminism? And how have you experienced femininity through being an African woman in Kenya? In the context of Kenya, in the context of being a Kikuyu, we are all Kikuyu country.
Feminism. I think I have experienced feminism or have practiced also feminism, especially in dialogue, like how you talk to people, how you, because sometimes when you're engaging even in things like the workplace, you don't think about your gender.
Yeah,
you don't stop
until someone like makes you feel like you need to.
Yeah, until someone does that.
Yeah.
Like if there's someone who's engaging a male colleague and they're direct, straight to the point, and then with you, they become softer.
Yeah.
Like they're a guy talking to you, but their tone becomes softer, and then they fluff up the language that they want to use.
Yeah.
They don't cut it straight direct to you. So I have seen and have that experience. I can be aware when I notice the difference in engagement in how someone engages me. But if they, because there are also people who engage with you in the same way.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, be nice.
Girl.
Yeah.
I think like in the gym, sometimes one can just be like horrifying, just like so direct.
So I wonder if we also do the push and pull with feminism. Like we push it to how we want, and then we pull back when we want.
Do you think that is feminism, or do you think that's about femininity and the ideology of femininity? Because when I think about feminism, like reading about equality and stuff, I think it's about in the places that I need to be recognized as a human being with rights, with the same brain capacity, with the same emotional capacity to handle situation. I think I'd take a political stand and say I'm a feminist.
Yeah.
But in terms of wanting to be treated softly and then being seen as powerful, I think it's a concept around femininity.
Actually, that's very true. Very enlightening. Yeah, it makes sense because you can show up and be able to defend what you need to defend.
Yeah.
And the other person doesn't need to treat you as a guy just because you are standing on something.
Yes, exactly.
They can have a conversation with you and acknowledge your femininity, and you can be expectant of that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't negate that this is what you stand for in terms of your rights and what should be put on the table for you.
Exactly.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I think maybe that's why we find, and that's why I think we are in this quagmire of talking about masculinity and femininity, which I was like, when I was reading about it, it said the concept around masculinity and femininity are actually all human traits. Like we both exchange roles. Even for men, they still have exchange. That's why we say they also have femininity traits. It's actually a cultural and social dynamic thing that has brought us to the place of now starting to say, oh, you're more masculine or you're more feminine.
Like we needed to bracket.
Like right now, I feel like that's what we are doing with so many things. It's like we are putting everything into this.
Yeah, like you need to fit something for it to make sense. Otherwise, if it can't be put in a group,
we feel like we don't identify, or people are not able to identify.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that's what personally, I think how I've interacted with feminism is being able to, in a workplace, being able to be seen as someone who is able to contribute without being told like, I'm a woman, I can't understand. This is math and you can't do accounting because you are a woman. Then that is you saying I'm less off, or I have lesser brain capacity
that is
to deliver work.
But now gender wise.
Yeah, gender wise, racism. Yeah. But in terms of femininity, in terms of softness, and I can understand that those times you are like, and then there are those times when you just want to be like, oh,
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I wrestle with, and I think femininity also can come from like you learning how to rest. And for me, I think those are like some of the areas I struggle with a lot. And sometimes also in the gym, allowing people to do things for you and stuff like that. But in the gym, it's interesting because sometimes you just want someone to carry weight for you, and then they're like, in the gym, there's no akunan, you're also here to work. And sometimes it can feel like, oh my God. But I think maybe that would be like the differences that I see between the two. When did you first become aware of feminism? And what did you mean?
I don't think I've ever shared this, but I think I've shared to a degree. But I don't think I expressed what it made me feel in terms of feminism. So there is a point when I was younger, when somebody tried to invade my personal space and body, nothing happened to a degree. I think it was still a form of sexual abuse. So when that happened and I reflected on it now, especially when I started therapy and things like those, that in its experience made me think nobody should have a right to violate me like that.
Yeah.
Just because now I related it to a man. Just because you're a man doesn't mean I am less and you can do that.
Yeah.
Right? You can come into my space and touch my body the way you want to. That is not correct.
Yeah.
So I think that for some reason put a very like a fire in my belly. So even when I'm in a presence of somebody catcalling, I am usually very irritated, and I can say things and be like, but you will see from me that situation is just not correct. And it makes me feel a certain way. So I think that experience made me think, how dare you think that I am less than because I'm a woman and that you have right over my body. Yeah. So I think that experience is what made me very aware that there is an imbalance here.
Yeah.
Right? There's a power play here between the two genders, and one gender is being felt to feel like they are not sufficient, right? And yet this gender also relies on this other gender for protection.
Yeah.
So then we need to be strong. We need to be at a field where when I say no, my no counts. Just because I am a woman doesn't mean my no is not is not a no. So I think that experience for some reason made me very conscious and aware of the imbalance, and made me also aware that there are people going through much more than this, and feminism is something that can help us.
Yeah. Oh wow, that is deep. And I agree. It's interesting that the aspect of protection kind of counter each other in a way, right? Because our fathers are supposed to be the protectors and our husbands and our brothers, but at the same time, when they go out there, probably they are the offenders.
Exactly. It's very
scary. I think sometimes now that's when now women are like, okay, I need to be stronger for me because
you can't rely.
You don't feel like you can rely on. I think for me, I'm trying to think about it. I think for me, it came through maybe education. I feel like I've never thought of myself less than, but also because a lot of my competitors used to be boys
in school.
Yeah. And then on the subject in which girls were good at,
and history
and horrible ones. Like I never used to thrive in that space. And so I always kept saying that I wouldn't like be actually feel like I can't do the math. And
do you feel like it was influenced by your mom? Do you think there was a role there?
Like my mom playing in terms of how I showed up in school.
Yeah. Because also your mom was an entrepreneur. So
she did her own thing. I actually don't know. But what my mom did is she was an encourager. Like my mom was like, go do it, go. She showed up for everything that I decided to do. I wanted swimming. I wanted to do drama of parents during Parents' Day. Okay with it. And when it comes to class, the same thing. I remember I used to wait for my mom if I performed well, like at the window. You see, like how seats have this reading, so I'd stand there until she comes, checking whether she's coming. I think what it gave me is like that support system of go for it. Just having that support during that younger age really built the foundation of believing in myself. So even when there are times, unfortunately, in my class, I'd find like I'm the only girl between like number 1 to like number 7. Or I'd feel like I'm the only, or we'd even compete. Boys themselves would come. Like there's a time I failed a math test, and boys would be like, "Why did you fail?" like, why did you fail? If you need help, tell us.
Yeah.
But you're not getting this marks again. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in a way, it might not have been
very well brought up men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a way, and it's because we used to like hang out together, and but then I think in a way it made me feel like in any room I enter, didn't first recognize myself as a woman who is less than. I feel like we are both equals. We can contribute. Yeah. To society in an equal manner. Because if you can do this, I can also do this. If we are competing, that means I still have the same capacity and capability. Yeah. So I think that helped me with not moving with sometimes you can be in recognition of something and sometimes it's what can just hold you back. So it's like, oh, but I'm a woman, so I cannot do this, that, owning it.
Oh, actually, that has never crossed.
You know?
Like, I don't know if anybody has ever been like, but I'm a woman.
Yeah,
it feels weird
to kind of like move. So for me it was like, I think it didn't, I never moved with it like I'm not capable of, just
because of your gender.
Yeah, because of my gender. I think maybe that was my first touch with feminism, but I've also experienced it in adulthood. You are sidelined. I think when you're at old age, when you can see,
you can recognize
it,
yes,
right? Like when you're sidelined just because you are a woman or someone is given tasks because they are a man and they assume that you cannot.
I think like in situations where you're working with people, whether in your day to 9 to 5 or like this other side things, you know, when you engage someone without like your gender is not even
it's not
never
somewhere
something you're thinking about, and then you share a message or you engage directly, do the things that are expectant of a woman as you are engaging with different people. I think there are some instances where I have identified that the person was expecting a different approach because they're dealing with a woman, right?
Yeah.
And you can see it because now when you see their expression, then it hits you. You're like, should I have been softer, right?
Yeah.
Should I have delivered that in a more feminine way, I guess, if we need to bracket it as being feminine? Should I have done that in that way? So you're right now, I think as we are growing into womanhood, you're very
conscious and cognizant of like sometimes it can also be like unconscious expectation, just because of the society you have been brought up in and long time of drilling. Even you as a woman, there's a way that you feel like you need to show up, and you're discussing this, and this probably can be like feminism or femininity. Like I know people make a lot of jokes nowadays about how women wear when they go to the gym.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm like, I'm comfortable, so that's what matters to me.
Yeah.
But then there's also, you can also feel the expectation of you need to wear a certain way just because you're a woman and you need to present yourself.
You need to wear decently, quote unquote,
just because you're a woman. So you should present yourself in a certain form of manner, because this is, if you do this, this is how you would be perceived, right?
Yeah.
And so it takes a lot of like redefining that for yourself, to the extent like nowadays personally I like wearing short shirts.
Yeah.
So I don't even think about it until maybe someone is like says something about it, but I just don't think about it. So it's interesting, before we get to the point where you're just like, okay, now this is who I am and I'm owning it. It takes a lot of reconditioning, because I know when we started going to the gym, we used to wear like the long shorts, and I think they've been getting shorter per the years. But that's such a interesting concept of interacting. That means we started interacting with feminism, I think, a long time ago when we were kids. And I think also just because we started in education. I can imagine our grandparents or their parents, our grandmother, probably great grandmother. I think should have a very different concept, because she lived in the time when women education was not valued, and mostly in Africa, because in Africa, girls going into school became a huge deal towards the 2000s.
Yeah, and I know it's also something being fought for even to date.
Yeah. And also part of like Kibaki's free education was to have more girls in school. But it's also interesting.
And actually, I think I'm a benefit of that.
Yeah. Because it was in 2000.
I did my primary.
Yeah.
I went to a public school. The fee that my mom was paying was very, very kidogo. I think only lunch and maybe some few few things.
Yeah, but the numbers have actually shifted right now.
Yeah.
We have more girls in school than boys. Interestingly, yeah.
I think for one of the things that I feel a certain way about in regards to feminism is the thought that this Western feminism is what has allowed us in now our Africanness to fight for our rights. The reason I think this is because we have very many cultures, African cultures, that women were leading and women had a voice. So I feel like, yes, there are other cultures that were predominantly being guided and not guided, being led by men, but I feel like our African culture also had space for women leadership. Yes, it's good that there's this whole global feminism that everyone is kind of like working towards and all of these things.
Yeah.
But I feel like it shouldn't also cancel the fact that for some of our African cultures, we were in a good place where women had power. And this westernization and colonization especially now meant, this cultural breakdown happened.
Yeah.
Men rose because we were these colonizers while men coming to colonize. So men led, and then women were made to be even lesser. Then now we are fighting back again.
Yeah. It's such a I've never thought about it that way.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think understanding history really, really helps sometimes. It gives a lot of context around I think as I'm growing older, I'm also appreciating the place of history.
Yes.
In who I am and how it shapes me.
Yeah, same.
And also I think maybe what I need to do more is understanding also family history and how that informs how you end up being as a family and how do you end up like changing some of those historical systems that have been long there in your family. Because I know that in our family, one of the things that is very clear is that we are a matriarchal family.
Yeah.
Women in our family are loud. Not loud in a bad way, but like they are more in charge, take over.
And we've seen
that, and it's across the different families.
Yeah, that make up our
home.
Yeah.
And so what is the history and where does that sit?
Yeah.
And probably there's something here to unravel and
it's interesting. Can you imagine from our lineage, there must have been someone who went through that experience of colonization.
Yeah.
And, like they were fearful for their life. Can you imagine our lineage has that?
That someone who never could not fathom that you could dare do something. Because I also feel like towards our social passing, I feel like she was becoming softer. There's a softness that she was like, there are things that she was like, hell no, when we were kids.
Yeah.
But I think as we came into being, even the fact that the last few family meetings, the ones who were watching Wambui and stuff like that, that was a change.
That was a different.
Huge, right?
I don't know if it also had something to do with us now being grown up.
Yeah, but there's a softness that came into being, but that shows you like that we like us currently we're experiencing this level. Like by the time we have kids and those kids are seated somewhere doing a podcast, will be the shows.
Yeah.
And we would be talking about such a time.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Right?
It's crazy. Absolutely insane.
And then they'd have such a different experience.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be talking about femininity and
like right now we think we are so progressive.
Oh, I fear for my kids though. I'm just like, you don't even know, like it's not systems that are changing, like so much will have changed that.
Will the world even be still there?
Same way.
Because these people are now fighting, countries are...
Like I was saying, like you can't teach your kids no longer to become a lawyer or a doctor.
Yeah.
Like
you need to just enable them to be...
what?
Different.
To be what that you don't even know that you'll be there. To be.
So it's like you need to make them generalists.
Exactly. Just give them the skills and the kindness to be humans and go back to
and the kindness to be humans and then
the connection, then explore.
Yeah.
No? And they'd come and say, Mom, you told me I'm a girl, but
we'll deal with that and that.
So there's the concept of femininity, and I would like to know, like, what is your first interaction with like the concept around femininity? When did you start questioning whether am I masculine or am I feminine?
I think maybe primary school.
Primary, maybe like the concept around femininity, like the concept, not the existing into the characteristics of, I think the questioning has come in more recent.
Like identifying as feminine.
Oh, okay.
The awareness.
Yeah, like a girl, you have like street things, and then you have your car.
Yes, I think it didn't hit when I was very young. Yeah. But when I was in primary, that's when I had my first crush. So at that time, I felt very aware that I'm a girl. And that I want him to go and buy me cream. Yeah. Like at that time, when I remember, that time I really felt I am a girl and I like a boy. That is the time. Yeah. But now this concept of feminine energy and being able to like be in your femininity, to embrace, how your body looks, how you feel. That one is like more recent. Yeah. Yeah. More recent, I mean like my late 20s. Yeah. Not even my early 20s.
So yeah. Because I'm trying to think, like, when did I start the whole angle of, I think I'm more masculine than feminine? And then because also feminine has been made to be like, being soft, and for me, I think for the longest, actually when you said since you're young, I think for the longest I've been in my masculine energy a bit more, if you find it in terms of the terms right now. Yes. Just because I used to hang out a lot with boys and they were my competitors.
Like you were doing the same, they were not treating you different.
Like we would rush to go, like when the bell rings after our classes, go rush, go wash your socks. That was the routine. Shower, then we'd meet in the classroom, we'd do homework together, then go rush eat. Like my eating habits of eating quick. That's where I learned it from. Eat quick and back to class, assignments, blah blah blah, extra work. Like and they used to be the people I competed with. I actually think I struggled a lot when I was in high school with just girls. And there's an extent of, I usually say that I think maybe if I was in a secondary school that was mixed, I think I'd have thrived better
than just girls. Actually, girls. I don't like this culture of I don't. Yeah. Maybe I know they're doing it because hormones at that time. Blah,
but then
I don't think it's valid.
So I was watching Parenthood. Yeah. The series, and I was thinking to myself, because they are so encouraging and identifying that this is part of teenage experience.
And I think that's why these children thrive.
Yeah.
Right?
Because, like, yes, first they get to understand rejection and hurt. They also get to understand feeling and emotions. They get to understand being there for someone else.
Yeah.
Because now there's the feelings and stuff like that. They're also able to talk about it with an adult in a safe space without being made to feel like whatever you're feeling is wrong. And dare you.
How dare you?
How dare you feel? How dare you see that boy and smile,
But now, it will be difficult, or it would be difficult to, for example, like take your child to a mixed school. Because there's the fear of, okay. And then, because we've not made it normal.
Yeah. I think it's just creating first understanding. It's not that even if you separate them, it becomes any different. Not that girls don't still get pregnant.
And also right now girls are liking girls, boys are liking boys. So like, what exactly are you trying to do here?
So I think it calls into a different kind of awareness of a parent.
Yeah.
Which we are not. This is just from us yapping, creating a space where your child is comfortable to come and talk to you. Because when I'm watching Parenthood, I'm feeling like, so there are different kind of parents. There is the girl with the dark hair and the daughter, which I feel like for her as a mother, she doesn't know how to control her own emotions. So she's they keep shouting at each other. They're not able to meet at the same place. So she's not able to address her child's emotions and she's also not able to regulate her own.
And sometimes she doesn't behave like the parent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes she lets her children influence her decisions and what she does. And she's very like reactive to situations more than have her mind in it. The firstborn girl also is like that to some extent. But in terms of action, she's very in the moment.
Yeah. They're very similar.
They're very similar. And then there is the mom who is controlling, the one who is a lawyer. Yeah. When the kid said she wants to be Miss Congeniality or Sujui, what she was like, no, women, we have fought for many years now.
Now you're making us go back. Imagine, and same parents, different
outcomes. Yeah. And then there's now the mom who has a kid with the asparagus and how she's so emotional. With her children, like any form of rejection from her child sends her over the edge. Like there are all these kind of different parents, and even the grandma and the granddad But also what that taught us is like the community. Like if you couldn't talk to your parent, they had someone else. And I was thinking, well, how can I build that?
Family. I think even if people are so individually, I would not be opposed to a family dynamic and setup like the Indian community. Where you live not in the same house, but like houses, if you are living in the same apartment or compound, so that it allows that. And I think one of our cousins, they have that beautiful way to live, right? Yeah.
Because I also felt the same way. Like it's so, when I was watching Parenthood, it kept me thinking, you have so many people you can lean on that if I'm not able to talk to you, I can talk to
this other person.
And if we have an issue, we have other people to help us resolve.
Yeah.
You know?
And people can argue.
And they are and we can, it's not a must we are always on the same page. And it's not a must we agree on the same things, you know. And I think Parenthood teaches us, like, it really brings out the concept of family in such a beautiful, complicated, complex way.
And very real.
Very real. The situations are so real. I haven't even watched that much, but as I'm watching it, I'm just like,
it's on Netflix. If you're
it's on
wondering
Netflix.
what we are talking about.
Yes. Again, I know we have taken such a tangent.
We are over time.
We're over time. But yeah, so how are you experiencing femininity? What is your concept around femininity now? As we close up and we have not covered anything, but
just certified yapas. Yeah. What is my concept around femininity now?
Yeah, how are you experiencing it?
I think being in a relationship helps me be more feminine.
It's like I was waiting for the point. Go ahead.
I think it helps a lot with femininity. It doesn't help at work because at work you show up in the same way. And I don't think me as a female when I'm at work.
Think about as a person who is there to perform whatever they need to perform. Yeah.
But I am conscious of it, depending on the engagement.
Yeah.
So right now I think I am. I actually think. Do you think I'm more feminine right now?
Yeah. Let me tell you guys, and I even told her some time back, I felt some type of like either anger or jealousy, because when we used to live together, we never used to buy flowers for our home, or should you say let's make our house do what? Never. To realize I'm not that girly like you are.
Yeah.
Then she got married. One boy do nowadays. She posts. What did you even call that thing? What do you call that thing?
Diffuser.
But she has diffusers in her house. You know, she has a plant. She likes flowers now. I
even let them dry so that I can preserve them.
Yeah. So
there's nothing more I can share about.
Yeah, and now she wears more dresses, colorful ones. Making her hair.
Guys, what? I'm embracing the Devantimabi in me. I think after the play, I am liking my dreadlocks and kept.
They look nice.
Thank you. I really do try. Like to get them here. It's a lot of work.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still
struggling. So attacked.
I've been trying to understand whether I'm very feminine. I don't think I'm extremely feminine. I don't think I'm very like, I don't know what now. I think how I express my femininity right now is wearing dresses, wearing my short shorts.
How it's like you are liking, you're dressing based on
how I feel and how I feel comfortable. Yeah. I don't think I'm really worrying what whoever will say. Yeah. I think also understanding my place sexually as a woman. I think that's something I'm also exploring.
Like what you like.
What I like as a woman. My thoughts around sexuality and sex are not feeling like something I need to hide from as a woman or feel shame around. How else? I don't know whether I know how my like naturally comes along as feeding people. Actually, today I've proved. I was checking today and I have proved I actually like feeding people.
Oh my god. This episode we are shooting at my
But I realized like I like being there for people, like just showing up and just affirming people that they are seen and creating that space. I think that's how and it's a human experience, anyone can do that, but I think that's part of my femininity, the nurturing aspect. Yeah.
Right. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not going to throw daggers at anyone. Oh. I am nice. Not because I am more feminine.
You're feminine.
You're lucky.
Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for listening in. That was interesting. I feel like we haven't covered so much. Like whatever I had is like
I think you only used 2 or 3 prompts.
Yeah, okay. And that was it. I feel like I don't have this conversation also with men around femininity and masculinity and the exchange and the living and stuff like that. Yeah, I feel like every conversation now you're saying we need men. I think it's something to consider and having male voice into this conversation. So if you're a man, ciao. We are having amazing events come. We really want our community to gather, enjoy, form connections, friendships, relax, realign with yourself. And so that's the goal actually. Our community events. At the same time have conversations that just kind of intriguing. If they change you, well and good. If you find them wow, they make you think a little bit, or just for the moment, and that's it. That's okay. Yeah. So make sure that you follow us and see what is coming up next. Thank you so much, and bye-bye. Mwah.